Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Happy New Year. I hope everybody is doing well. So, I have one of my most common questions this morning. So, let me just kind of get my notes set up here. So, if we haven't met, I'm Shawna. I'm a therapist and intuitive reproductive health coach. And I help women experience better periods and reduce pain, inflammation, the whole nine. That's kind of what I do over here. And so every week I go live and have a question that I answer. And sometimes they're my most common questions, and sometimes they're not. So today is a common question. You probably hear me talk quite a bit about having routines. Routines are important because it kind of signals to our brain things that we should be doing. And it kind of helps our brain keep track of what we need to do. And so I'm just kind of going to go through my typical routine. This is not necessarily what I do every day, but definitely on the days that my kids go to school, this is what I do because I'm up so early. And on days my kids don't go to school, sometimes it looks a little different. It's a little later, it's kind of more lagged, but it's very flexible. Now, you don't have to do the same exact thing that I do, but this is just a suggestion on things that you could think about to put in your routine that fits for you. Now, remember, self love is our ultimate goal that we are trying to achieve. However, self care is the vehicle on how we get there. And so your routine is basically part of the vehicle. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about that. So, what does Shauna do when she gets up in the morning? So, the first thing that I do is that before I even roll out of bed, I try to stretch and take good deep breaths. It's not anything that is super intensive. I was intentional about not having this super long routine because I wanted to be consistent with it, which is what's important. And so I will stretch and do some deep breaths. And then when I get out of bed, I will, because I have to wake my kids up still for some reason, they just can't seem to get up. I will turn my water on so that I can have hot water because I've been drinking lemon water every morning. That's been helpful in kind of the caffeine department. It's been helpful in just kind of cleaning out the system and just kind of get you in the warm water versus cold water helps your blood vessels open. So that means everything is moving a lot better, a lot quicker. So then what I do is while my kids are getting ready, I'll do some meditation or affirmations. I will just kind of, in some ways, get my mind right. I'll do that for just a few minutes. It's not very long. And also, while the kids are getting ready, I will also kind of, that's when I check most of my social media and respond to questions. And we'll do that while I'm waiting kind of for the kids. And I help them get breakfast and pack their lunch. I kind of do it all at the same time. Then we go to school drop off. And it's usually pretty quick because we live around the corner from the school. So, school drop off. And a lot of times, sometimes I might have podcast or a book on in the car, sometimes I don't. But the most important piece is that when I come back from dropping off is usually when I go for my walks. Now, y'all hear me talk a lot about walking, and how if you can't do any other exercise or anything else, any kind of movement, walking is the one thing that you can do no matter what. Um, I know it's wintertime in most places, and it could be snowing. It could be, and it could be that you just take laps around your house on the inside. If you have a treadmill, you walk on the treadmill. If you can go to the gym, just go for a walk. Some people will go, I know in northern places where I used to live, we would go to the mall and walk. So that's a good place too. So I get my 30 minutes of movement in, and I'm usually averaging about almost 2 miles every day. So one of my goals or one of my commitments for this year is actually to increase that to a little bit over 2 miles. So that's something that I'm going to be personally working on. So then after I get moving, and then there's some days where maybe I don't go for a walk and I'll do my strength training, and I've been liking kettlebell. So that's kind of what I do at that moment. Then after I've done my movement and or strength training for the day, I will go ahead and get dressed, get myself together. I'll have my breakfast, have my vitamins after I do all that. And then again, I'm not looking for perfection on this routine, but I'm just looking for progress and being consistency. And it's okay that some days don't work out, some days do, some days I knock it out the park, some days I don't. But these are the things that I do because I still have a 9 to 5 job, if you didn't know. And my work schedule typically starts at 10 a.m. during weekdays. And I'm usually up at 6 because the kids have to be at school so early. So I literally take a few hours to get my routine in. Now you're saying, well, Shauna, I don't have as much time in the morning as you do. Your routine is as short as long as you want it. It could be, I've seen people with these crazy like 2 hour routines. I have bursts over the course of this time frame. There are some mornings where I feel really tired or I feel like I need more rest. And I will literally get up, do the first part of my routine, take the kids to school, and then come back and actually take a nap. That's self care too. And then I'll take a nap until it's time for me to get up and get dressed and get to work. So that's kind of like the morning routine. Now that's a good way to kind of just start your day. And then on the back end of your day, you want to create yourself a nighttime routine. Remember when you were kids and you had to take a bath, you had dinner, you took a bath, and you did all these things before you went to bed? Well, here is the same premise. We still kind of, in some ways, even as adults, have to do nighttime routines. It's just that it's again signaling our brain that there's something that we need to do. And if we just so happen to do it in particular order, it naturally helps us wind down for the day. It helps us reset for the day. It helps us in so many ways. I guess I'll try to repost a video that I did maybe when school started about the good things that happens when we actually have a routine. So I'll try to bring that up too. Okay, so in my night routine, this is the place where I probably do the most self love and just self management and self care, usually. So after we do dinner and cleanup, I will try to do some cleaning. I usually don't take a long time, but outside of the kitchen, I'll take another like 15 minutes to just clean one particular area, a particular zone, or something in my house. It's one way to kind of help kind of keep things clean. And then while I'm doing that, I have the kids, getting ready for bed with their showers and pulling out their clothes and making sure that their lunches or whatever is ready to go for the morning. And then after that, I essentially just I get ready for bed. That sometimes it's a bath, sometimes it's a shower, sometimes I'm doing like facials or I'll do maybe a scrub sometimes. I make sure I brush my teeth and basically just get ready for the night. And then once I kind of settle down in the bed, I try to have like a little bit of meditation, gratitude, affirmations, and these are kind of things, and it's not always the same, but it's something just to give myself a little space and grace and to be grateful at the moment and for what I have. I just take a few minutes to do that. And then I will check my calendar for the next day just to make sure that there's nothing that I have to do in the morning because I do have private clients and I typically see them in the morning. So that's why that morning routine is so flexible because I can't do anything because I have a client. And so that's just kind of how I start and end my day just for comfort, relax, self-love, that self-care. And it's just a way to really reset. Again, I have another video that I did on the reasons why we want to have a routine and why it's important. And I'll try to see if I can link that with this one, but if not, I'll just kind of redo that one or repost that one somewhere else. So I hope that you guys kind of found this helpful this morning. Again, your routine doesn't have to look like mine, but it's a place to start. It's a place to give you some ideas on what to do, where to start, things you can incorporate into your routine. And essentially, you have to do what works for you. I remember listening to this podcast that was specific on productivity, and they were actually talking about routines and talking about like a morning routine and specifically. And just like I mentioned, there were some people that were doing like these long, crazy routines in the morning. And I'm like, well, I don't have time for that. And so it was the whole point of it was, again, do what works for you. What works for you is going to be very different from what works for the next person. But ultimately, as long as you're doing a routine, you are essentially working on your healing journey. You're working on your womb health. You're working on your mental health, and it gets better. So I hope you found this helpful. And let me know if you guys have more questions, more comments. And then I hope you guys see me in social media so that we can have some chats. Talk to you soon. Bye.